Om Dhanvantare Namaha. Our Mother Nature blesses those diamonds and gems who are with the utmost and the true knowledge of it. It sends them to the place where there is a craving for it. Lucky are those who are blessed with that opportunity to grab the knowledge from those gems and diamonds. Today, we are having some of them to transfer the knowledge of Ayurvediya Padhartha Vijnana in all its aspects to the craving and starving minds at prestigious Institute of Government Ayurveda Medical College, Bangalore. With this note, I, Dr. Meghati, Assistant Professor, Department of Samhita Siddhanta, would like to give my heartiest welcome to all the dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, and all the delegates who have come so long to attend this 6-day training program CME at Bangalore, sponsored by RAV, an autonomous organization under Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, New Delhi, for the inaugural function. Prayer is a form of communication with God to request the support for the work we are doing. So, let's start the function by remembering the Almighty with the prayer and for its smooth progress and success. Prayer from Arpita.
Panisa garisa sani dapa garisa ni sagama panisa garisa sani dapa garisa ni sagama panisa 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 Devi Puri Sharade Varade Devi Puri Sharade Varade Sangeeta Sahitya Kala Pramode Sangeeta Sahitya Kala Pramode Devi Puri Sharade Varade Devi Saraswati Vidya Sumati Devi Saraswati Vidya Sumati Vidyamate Modite Vidyamate Modite Sangeeta Sahitya Kala Pramode Sangeeta Sahitya Kala Pramode Devi Puri Sharade Varade Brahmanarani Lokadavani Brahmanarani Lokadavani Brahmani Veena Pani Brahmani Veena Pani Sangeeta Sahitya Kala Pramode Sangeeta Sahitya Kala Pramode Devi Puri Shara Devi Puri Shara Devi Puri Sharade Varade. Thank you.
Thank you, Arpita. Atiti Devo Bhavaha. Atiti Satkaraha Paramadharmaha. Atithis have come up, so I request our HOD, Dr. Anand Katti sir, Associate Professor, Department of Samhita Siddhanta, to welcome the gathering.
Good morning, everyone. Respected dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, and the reverend delegates who have come from different part of the country. In fact, it's honor to welcome you all. At the outset, I welcome wholeheartedly from the Department of Basic Principle, from the Government Ayurveda Medical College, from everyone gathered here, our Honorable Commissioner, who is the head of Ayush Administration in the state of Government of Karnataka. I extend a warm welcome to you, madam. I request Dr. Ahalya madam to welcome her by giving a kick. Dr. Madam, her name is Dr. Meenakshi Negi, who has got a very vast experience of working in the Ayush sector. She was working with as a Chief Executive Officer of National Medicinal Plants Board, New Delhi, in the Ministry of Ayush. After that, she has been appointed. She is basically an IFS officer and has been a backbone for all Ayush administration. Has been a very kind lady, a humble lady. So many remarkable changes have taken place since she has come into the Ayush. It's almost about an year or so that she has joined us, joined this Ayush Directorate as the head of the administration. I extend a cordial welcome once again, madam. Secondly, another person, distinguished person on the dais is our Joint Director of Ayush Education, Dr. Sridhar B.S. sir. Dr. Sridhar B.S. was the professor and the principal of this institution itself when I joined this institution, and he has been looking after all the administrative aspects of the Ayush colleges, be it government, aided or private colleges. The education aspect of the whole Ayush colleges is taken care of by Dr. Sridhar sir. I extend a warm welcome to him also on this occasion. I request Principal Madam to welcome him by giving a kit. Thirdly, the backbone of the institution, the cheerful, encouraging, our beloved Principal Madam, Dr. Ahalya Sharma. It is her inspiration which has taken this initiative, which has taken this program to be arranged. I extend a very warm welcome to her. I request Dr. Megha, our colleague, to welcome her by giving a kit. And we have and already you have been introduced to one of the revered resource person, Dr. Galgali sir. I extend once again a warm welcome to this institution. We have head of department, PG department, Dravyaguna, Dr. Lalita madam. I welcome her to this program. And we have our friends, colleagues in this auditorium. I welcome them. And lastly, but not by any means least, the different corners of the country has arrived. We have teachers ranging from Assam, Uttarakhand, Maharashtra, Odisha, who have made all the way to this institution to be a part of this program. I extend a very warm welcome to all of you. Now, before I wind up, just let me give you a brief introductory note of this program. As you know, this is a CME continuing medical education program which is conducted for the teachers of Samhita Siddhanta department and is sponsored by the Rashtriya Ayurveda Vidyapitha, an autonomous body under the Ministry of Ayush, which has funded and we are organizing it. In fact, when I go back, my memories go back, I joined this institution in 2017 September when incidentally Dr. Sridhar B.S. was the principal. And immediately after 7 or 8 days of my appointment over here, he elevated me to the post of the HOD of this department. The irony was, I was the only person, I was the head of the institution, head of the department and the tail of the department also. Then at that time, when I was given this charge of heading this department, I was having some idea, I should do some activity, something, but then there were so many hurdles because I myself had to deal with Padartha Vijnana, Ashtanga, Charaka Purvara, Charaka Uttarada. I guess you know how much a Samhita teacher has to work, not to compare with any other, but just to give you a fact. Then it suddenly so happened that the things changed. We had a group of teachers and I was fortunate to have my own previous student, Dr. Megha, who became my colleague here. Then that idea of doing something and suddenly some change also in the administration of this college also took place. We were fortunate enough to have Dr. Ahalya madam as the principal, and I was so happy because her roots are more related. She may be PG in Shalya, but she is basically a basic principal person. She's a renowned teacher of Padartha Vijnana, and whole country knows that she is a wonderful teacher, resourceful person as far as the subject of Padartha Vijnana is concerned. And that made me that made me, that idea foster, and I immediately expressed, madam, there is something called as RAV where I can apply and do such an activity. She immediately gave a thumping support and extended every support. Believe me, every for small or big work I used to approach her, and instantly I used to get the responses that made everything happen, and everything went on until now. Another name I have to remember, in the initial of the beginning of this process of application, etc., I had my friend from Alvas Ayurveda Medical College, Dr. Ravi Rai, who gave all the support, right from how to apply, what are the attachments to be given, and I have to remember him on this occasion. So that's from where it started. And actually, we applied August 2018, and it was sanctioned in January 2019, and today we are having it. It is a very special event in itself because we have different teachers from the different part of the country. And as we were discussing, this is the first of its kind activity in this college. And to be, and the matter is, we have four government Ayurveda colleges in Karnataka, and this is the first of its kind in all the four colleges. And another thing is, this is only the second CME in the state of Karnataka for Samhita teachers. For Samhita teachers, there was only one CME that was held very long back, and this happens to be the second CME. That is another speciality. And another thing that I want to put, usually these CMEs are conducted by the department that have got a PG department in them, because there will be sufficient amount of manpower, and everything will be arranged. And in spite of not to take any negative things, we thought we are three people, Ahalya madam, me and Megha, we can take everything forward. And then we went and we have arranged, and we have done all possible things to make it one of the best CMEs, because we want a certain level of deliberations to take place, certain level of, I mean, at the end of the day, the participants should take some messages and go back. That's what should happen. And with that background, what best we can do, we have done it. I again extend a cordial welcome to all of you, and hope your stay in Bangalore is pleasant, and hope your sessions are more fruitful. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for welcoming the gathering. Now I welcome you, sir, for the inaugural function. I request Savita to give sir a kit and welcome him. Thank you, Dr. Savita. Shubham karoti kalyanam, arogyam dhana sampada, shatru buddhi vinashaya, deepam jyotir namostute. I request all the dignitaries on the dais to please come forward to light the lamp.
We have applied. Out of his own interest, he made immediately one phone call to RAV, which I have to remember it. And I thank him for that also, for that gesture also.
Thank you, dignitaries, for lighting the lamp. Now, I request our delegates who have come from such a long stations for this CME. I request you to introduce yourself, sir.
Mahashatra Dr. Suraj Kodre, Assistant Professor, Government Ayurveda College, Burhanpur, MP.
Namaste, myself Dr. Sushil Kumar, Associate Professor from Vidarbha Ayurveda Mahavidyalaya, Amravati, Maharashtra.
Good morning, Dr. Manoj Pandey, Associate Professor, RK University Ayurvedic College, Rajkot, Gujarat.
डॉक्टर मयूर पटेल, भार्गव आयुर्वेद कॉलेज देहमी, आनंद, गुजरात.
डॉक्टर सचिन वाघमारे, यशवंत आयुर्वेद कॉलेज, कोडोली, कोल्हापूर, महाराष्ट्र.
Good morning everyone, respected dignitaries and delegates. Myself Dr. Nitin Burman. I am presently working as Associate Professor at Government Ayurvedic College, Guwahati, Assam. Thank you.
Namaste, myself Dr. Rajesh Bhatt. I am from SDM Institute of Ayurveda, Bangalore. I am working as Associate Professor.
Good morning, one and all. Myself, Dr. Vikas Bharadwaj. I hail from district Panchkula in Haryana, and my college is LBS Mahila Ayurvedic College, district Yamuna Nagar, Haryana.
Morning, myself Dr. Satish, Assistant Professor from Adish Chunchandgiri Ayurvedic College, Bangalore.
Good morning. Myself, Dr. Sivappa Pujari, working as an assistant professor in the Sri Pepuna Sanatana Ayurvedic Medical College in Nelmangala, Bangalore only.
Namaste. Myself, Dr. Sridhar Reddy, Assistant Professor, Sri Ingolambika Ayurvedic Medical College, Gulbarga, Karnataka.
Myself, Dr. Devayan Bandyopadhyay from Kolkata. I'm Assistant Professor in BS Rajiv Gandhi Memorial Ayurvedic College and Hospital, Kolkata.
Namo Namah, Dr. Mugdha Thakre from Savantwadi, myself Savant Ayurvedic College and working as Assistant Professor.
Myself, Dr. Shriyabdhi Tanya Rautray, Associate Professor, SSN Ayurvedic College, Odisha.
Myself, Dr. Bhuvneshwari, Assistant Professor from Ayurveda College, Coimbatore.
Good morning, everyone. Myself, Dr. Gunika Goswami, Assistant Professor, Government Ayurvedic College, Assam. Thank you.
Namaste. Myself, Dr. Jyoti Sihag, working as an Assistant Professor, Shri Papa Masnath Ayurvedic College, Rohtak, Haryana. Thank you.
Good morning. Myself, Dr. Sagar, working in Sri Ganganagar Ayurvedic College and Hospital, Sri Ganganagar, Rajasthan.
Very good morning. I'm Dr. Pooja T. I'm an Associate Professor from Dharma Ayurveda Medical College, Chennai, Tamil Nadu.
Good morning. Myself, Dr. Priyanka, Associate Shri Kalabharat College, Bangalore.
Good morning, Dr. Medical College, Bangalore.
Good morning, everyone. I am Vaidya Sheetal Rasne. I am working as an Associate Professor at Dr. D.Y. Patil Ayurvedic College, Pune, Maharashtra.
Good morning, everyone. Myself, Mrs. Josna Kunga Sakre, Associate SG Ayurvedic College, Solapur. I am Associate Professor there.
Good morning. I am Vaidya Rajeshri Bharati, Professor, Anna Saheb Dange Ayurvedic College, Ashta, Maharashtra.
Good morning, everyone. Myself, Dr. Spurti. I am working as an Associate Professor, Motherhood Ayurvedic Medical College, Roorkee, Uttarakhand State. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Myself, Dr. Bhavna Patel, working as a lecturer in JS Ayurved Mahavidyalaya, Gujarat. Thank you.
Good morning, one and all. Myself, Vaidya Krishna Rathod. Now I am working as Assistant Professor, Parul Institute of Ayurveda, Parul University, Vadodara. Now working as Assistant Professor.
Namaste. I am Dr. Savita Shanai. I am from Sri Sri College of Ayurvedic Science and Research, Bangalore. I am working as Associate Professor there.
Last but not least, I am the last delegate in the session, Dr. Megha, Government Ayurveda Medical College, Bangalore. Thank you all for introducing yourself in a brief. Today, we have a dynamic person of Department of Ayush, that is Dr. Sridhar B.S., Joint Director. As a guest, chief guest of today's function, I request you, sir, to speak few words on this occasion.
Respected Commissioner of Ayush, Srimati Meenakshi Negi Madam, Principal of the Institute, Dr. Halia Madam, Head of the Department of Samhita and Siddhanta, Dr. Anand Katti, many dignitaries and delegates, PG scholars, faculty members of this institute. Department of Ayush already felt that there is the need of continuing medical education training of teachers. These programs are very much required for our Ayush department. The teachers from various parts of the country, if they come together, they can discuss many issues while teaching the subject of Samhita and Siddhanta. And whatever the doubts are there, that doubts that can be cleared by the visiting dignitaries, faculties, elite teachers, so that the students will be benefited. The thing is, organizing these CMEs, all the departments should come forward. What are the benefits for the institution means, many scholars of the subject, they are visiting the institute, they are delivering the lectures on various important subjects, and many subtle points regarding the subjects can be understood. And this knowledge can be transferred to the all faculties of the institute. If PG department is there, PG scholars, so the institute will also benefit. And the delegates, they can meet many people. So what are the things going on in other institutions, how they teach the particular topic, what is their approach in teaching, these things can be discussed. So there will be some take-home messages after the end of the CME program, and some materials also you will get in the form of PPT presentations and even some material, study materials which are supplied to you. Now the issue is, our Samhita Siddhanta, it is started from the Samhita Siddhanta, really very nice, because all the upliftment of the knowledge should start from the Samhita Siddhanta, from the basic principles itself. It's a good beginning. So, many Siddhantas, they are all limited to the examination. Whatever the knowledge or Siddhantas we learned in the Samhita Siddhanta, it should be made practically useful. The ultimate aim of all the teachers or physicians, we have to treat the patient. The benefit should go to not only the students, but to the patients also. So the practical approach in all Siddhantas, it should be understood. And I am happy that the list of speakers in the CME program, many persons, those who are having good knowledge and practical approach are selected. I think in the coming 6 days, you will get the feast of knowledge and the practical approach regarding the many Siddhantas in Samhita Siddhanta. And I hope this CME program will be useful to all of you. I wish all the success for the next 6 days, and I appreciate the department and the institution for taking up this initiation, and many more such CME programs should be organized by the college. Let it be a good beginning. And finally, I thank all the organizers for giving me this opportunity to speak a few words with you. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, sir, for addressing the gathering and wishing for this CME to be a grand success. Today, we also have a lady with simplicity and yet dynamic and inspiration to many women. That is Srimati Meenakshi Negi ma'am, Commissioner, Department of Ayush, as a guest of honor, I request her to speak few words on this occasion.
Colleagues on the dais, dear friends, people who have come from all over the country, a very good morning to all of you. If I have to say anything really about Samhita Siddhanta, I don't think I can speak a single word because you are the experts and I don't really have much knowledge. But what I understand from having worked in this sector for quite some time now is that is the root of, after all, basic principles. It's not only in Ayurveda, anywhere. If you want to study law, for example, the basic principles of natural justice or whatever it is, the basic principles are very important and the most difficult to grasp. Like in law, for example, if you want to study jurisprudence, you have to study the history, how it came about. It is the most difficult because conceptually it is very difficult. Otherwise, practical trainings are simpler. I don't know. So people in Shalya may not agree, but doing something practically is perhaps easier and easier to follow than grasping concepts which are embedded in our text, and also the concepts because they are not even in a language which is easily understandable by many of us. So to grasp those basic concepts, definitely we need to renew this knowledge over and over again, and that is the reason why we have CMEs, continued medical education, for people who are already in this sector, who are practicing, who are teaching. And CME was originally, when we thought in Government of India about CMA and ROTP. These are the two programs run by RAV in Delhi. So it was thought, initially it started as a Guru Shishya Parampara, this RAV, Rashtriya Ayurveda Vidyapith. It was thought that it will take forward the Guru Shishya Parampara, and anybody who wants to understand more or wants to understand, as Dr. Sridhar said, the nuances, the finer nuances of the knowledge system, then they would go, we would identify gurus all over the country, and the Shishyas would go and sit with the guru and understand those concepts. I hope RAV is still taking that forward, perhaps, I do not know. But then it was decided that to bring it to a larger audience, perhaps ROTP CME especially is the best way, because it is not only through lectures that you learn, it is by meeting and interacting and talking to each other that you can understand, sharing your experiences, that perhaps. So that was the idea behind convening these kinds of programs. And I am so happy. There we used to only write. Here we can actually see that these things are actually happening. People from different parts of the country are coming. That is the idea. More than the speaker, it is hoped and expected, and I'm sure it will happen, that you people, when you interact with each other, many of your doubts, many of your, how people do things in Karnataka, how it's happening in Gujarat, how probably Uttarakhand or wherever else. So that being the idea, it is good to know that people from different parts of the country are here, as far away as Assam, Uttarakhand, Tamil Nadu, of course, next door, but people from different parts of the country should, and the speakers who are lined up, I was talking to Dr. Ahalya, the speakers who are lined up are really good, and my congratulations to the team, actually, the convener and under the guidance of the principal, to have got together this kind of panel for all of you. They will be speaking, they will be talking to you over the next 5 days. And I hope to come in between 1 or 2 sessions to just understand myself. So I will try to come and sit there and listen to some of the speakers. And that apart, this program, which is for 5 days, is in a nice place, Bangalore. And I hope all of you find time to go around Bangalore, see the place for yourself, notwithstanding the traffic. But perhaps the traffic also has to be seen to be believed. So that is one. And the study material and all, whatever, at the end of it, whatever comes out of it, hopefully it will be shared with the students, and there will be some interactions with some of the students, at least the PG students in the department, with the people who have come from different parts, so that they can also get a feel, or they can also benefit from the presence of so many experts here. So with that, I wish it all success, and I hope you enjoy your stay here, and there is a meaningful interaction and meaningful exchange of ideas, That is the idea. And hopefully, and most importantly, we want your feedback. I hope there is a feedback form at the end of it. And please give your feedback without any hesitation. We want the feedback so that we can improve it further, because from now on we are going to have more and more of these CMEs in different departments, and the good beginning has been made. And I was surprised to know that in Karnataka this is the only second CME in Samhita Siddhanta. Only the second CME in the whole state. So that means there's room for many such programs. And please feel free to give your feedback in whichever way you want, whether it is regarding accommodation, travel, the content, whatever it may be. Please give your feedback. We'll be looking forward to that. And thank you very much for sparing time, for having come all the way in this election fever season. You people have come here and you've given your time for the program. And my best wishes to you and best wishes for all success to the program. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for addressing the gathering and quoting the Gurukula system over here, which is right now looking like that only. The Gurus and the Shishyas, what we are here. Thank you. Now I request our beloved principal, Dr. Ahalya Sharma ma'am, who is the backbone, the initiator, the most happiest person when the CME was sanctioned, to speak few words on this occasion as a presidential speech.
Yatraiva yatraiva manomadiyam tatraiva tatraiva tava swarupam. Yatraiva yatraiva shiromadiyam tatraiva tatraiva padatvayam te. With these words, my dear Madam, head of the department who is more a friend than the actual boss, so we call her our dear ma'am, respected Joint Director, our colleague, Dr. Anand Katti, Dr. Lalita, Dr. Shivram, dear delegates, my dear students and colleagues. It indeed is a matter of big honor for us here at JAMC to have you all with us for the next 6 days. Having been a practitioner and a teacher myself, one of the most important things when I say Ayurveda at large in the country, for all the lofty ideas and ideals that we speak of, why is it not translating into action? Why do so many of our students still follow allopathy, still get into the allopathic practice? And here we are talking about so many details, the Vyadhi Pratyanika, Sannipata, Samsarga. Why is it not actually coming on? Many times we have, in fact, we have all discussed about it. Where are we actually not addressing it, not pinpointing it? I constantly as a teacher felt the key to open the Samhita obviously lies with the Department of Samhita, with us teachers, to take in the responsibility of getting them interested in the Samhita to know how they read. I always thought of an example. Today happens to be the 22nd of April, 2019. Today also happens to be the Tritiya Chaturthi, Chaitramasa, Krishna Paksha of the Vikarinama Samvatsara. The two of them talk about the same date, but the two of them approach it in very different ways. This is what is happening to an Ayurveda student who gets a patient who he knows is easy to understand from the upper motor or the lower motor neuron way, or who can see it easily as cellulitis or a varicose ulcer, rather than look at it from the dosha aspect and look into it as Tushtavrana or whatever be the kind of Ranashofa that he has to actually see. The texts give it more easily, the language is what he knows, and the environment around him is talking of the same language. So he obviously gets drawn to that. How do we bring this shift in understanding? Unless I look at a case from the dosha aspect, looking into the samprapti, looking into the chikitsa that needs to be given, it can never be transmitted outside to the students. And for us to transmit, we need to be sure about it. I mean, all of you are now PG Samhita Siddhanta, so obviously there is no question. But in the earlier times, it used to be that anybody like me, I was a Shalya PG, I was made to teach Padartha, but thankfully the subject was so interesting, I fell more in love with that than with my parent department. I hope nobody from Shalya is here. So that's how it happens. And many of us, might not have gone into the depth of it. So my request is, apart from what deliberations happen between 9:30 and 4:30, you're all staying in the same place. So you have time from 4:30 to at least the dinner time. Maybe we can come out with a monologue, we can come out with some writing, we can take a particular point to discuss. And I was just requesting Dr. Ganagari sir to demonstrate the same with the help of a patient, wherein we get this vivachana done completely. So with these words, and to interest, to enthuse an Ayurveda student. Actually, students are generally, right, they enter in from a different mindset. And the first year is taught mostly with us. So to unlock that potential, it is we who need that extra mile to be walking. So for that, the first CMV we thought was necessary was obviously Siddhanta and Samhita, and I'm very grateful that I have a person of Dr. Katti and Megha's interest who took so much of pains at every step in trying to get this and organize this. So my congratulations to my very efficient team at that, and I sincerely hope you all have a very interesting stay for the next 6 days. Our library will be kept open in case you need any books or any other facility that you may need. We are just either a phone call away, or most of us would be spending the days here with you all. So anything else you need, please, we will be more than happy to provide it. With these words, I wish all of you a very happy time and a very big learning process that can happen here, which can change the mindset of our students. So the Uddesha is somewhere there, the vision is somewhere there, and the mission is what we are going through now. Ultimately, we need to bring in that change in our students, and we need to take the responsibility to do it. And I'm sure each one of you are more than capable of doing it with these. I thank ma'am and sir for being here with us, and all my colleagues who have supported us through and through. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am, for addressing the gathering. As we know that being a Samhita Siddhanta people, we would have already fallen in love, and that's why we had took the PG. But it's very difficult to make a Shalya student to fall in love with Padartha Vijnana. And she was in that love for about 18 years, and she has been announced as the best teacher of Padartha Vijnana in the past. Thank you, ma'am. Before going to the vote of thanks, I would like to quote some of my words with a quotation. Satatam cha api adhyanaha samyak adhyapana vishak ihaloke yashaha prapya shakraloke mahiyate. That is, the physician who involves continuously in adhyayana and adhyapana gets yashas in this loka and become great in the Indraloka. So let's do the adhyayana over here and do the adhyapana in our mother institute to get the yashas in this Ihaloka and Paraloka, and at last carry the great knowledge from the CME which has been organized in our college, Bangalore. So with this note, I request Dr. Savita to come forward and give vote of thanks.
First of all, I heartily thank our guest of honor, Srimati Meenakshi Negi, Commissioner, Ministry of Ayush, spending the valuable time with us. Thank you, Madam. I wholeheartedly thank our chief guest, Dr. Sridhar B.S., Joint Director, Ayush Education, for being with us. Thank you, sir. It gives me an immense pleasure to thank our beloved principal, Dr. S. Ahalama, for standing and supporting the CME program. Thank you, ma'am. I thank Samhita Siddhanta team, Dr. Anand Katti sir and Dr. Megha for organizing the CME program. I thank all the other teaching staffs, Dr. Lita madam, Dr. Shriram Gayatri sir, and other teaching staff, students of UG and PG. I thank one and all present here. I thank all the delegates who are present here. I thank one and all. Thank you.
Thank you.
A session, let me give you brief instructions. We have instructions related to the CME that I want to share in the beginning. They may be simple instructions, they may be Sometimes very simple instruction, if it goes unnoticed, will be okay. I have made some things that I have to tell. One thing is, you are aware of, you have seen our kit and you have seen how the water, everything has been kept. We are going to minimize the usage of plastic. That's the reason why, that has been the idea of such kit, getting the plastic disposables, etc. And I insist upon that being that should be remembered throughout these 6 days. So we'll have a plastic-free environment here. And all of you are very much aware of the accommodation details and the way you have to come to this. Then, okay, let me put one question. How many of you are aware of the norms of RAV? Because this is a program which is sponsored by RAV. So this is a program which is sponsored by RAV. How many of you are aware of what this is? Because I got a call from one of the delegates that will we have the clinical applications of the Samhitas. I answered that delegate, but I got to know, because this is a tailor-made program that they have given and we have to follow it. Every sessions are given to us and we have to follow those things. So in that background, have you seen the website of RAV? Are you aware of what will happen these 6 days? Yes, can I get the answers? Okay, the slides will come. So this is the purpose of training. I just put the screenshot of what RAV is telling. The purpose of this training program is to encourage Ayush professionals to undergo need-based professional orientation and professional skill development in an organized manner. Because I, in Government Ayurveda Medical College, will be teaching the subject of Padartha Vijnana in my own way. And at the same time, you in your institution, based on how well you were trained, how has been your exposure, you will be teaching in your own way. Are we complementing each other? Is there anything that is common between us, or is there anything that you are doing better, you are doing new things which other one is unaware of? So that is what is the basic purpose, to have an interaction, to update ourselves in imparting the quality knowledge, particularly related to this subject, is what is the purpose of this CME. And that's the first objective. And obviously any such activity, which we call it as Sadvidya Sambhasha, is to get ourselves updated. The science is progressive, the bulk of knowledge is always getting increased, and therefore we should not lag behind, we should not get isolated in the scientific society. So we should be updated, and that's what is another purpose of this CME. So these are the objectives, and the module that they have given is this is what is the module. Look, what will happen in these 6 days is on your screen. So it is absolutely, all sessions would be on this syllabus that is provided in your Padartha Vijnana and Ayurveda Itihasa. It is absolute. These are topic not framed by me or this institution. It is provided by the Rashtriya Ayurveda Vidyapitha. They are providing us to go ahead with Padartha Vijnana, where they have mentioned definition, derivation, okay, where we have critical analysis of this topic. Then we have Shat Padartha, Karana Dravya, fundamental principles, cause effect theory, comparative philosophy. Then look now, there is Tantra Yukti, need scopes to study Tantra Yukti, seventh one. Then there is descriptive study of Tantra Yukti, Tantra Yukti as a tool of textual study, scientific analysis of Tantra Yukti, then clinical interpretation of Tantra Yukti in its practical applicability. So we have 5 sessions on Tantra Yuktis, effectively. We have 5 sessions, and we have not compromised on any of these. to follow as it is, and therefore there will be 5 sessions on Tantra Yukti. So the reason it so happens that we have told all speakers to come with these topics in more applied way. But many times it so happens that they start with the basics, and basics you may feel it to be a repetitive. So you have to make yourself reframe of mind in such a way that we have 5 Tantra Yukti sessions, and therefore you be prepared. And look after that what is there, Arthashraya Kalpana. We have 3 sessions on Arthashraya and Kalpana. And what we have planned here is we not to make 2 sessions single day on each of those. We will not have 2 Tantra Yukti sessions on a single day. So that is, if today is Tantra Yukti 5 days, in the 6 days, there will be 1 session. And we have 3 on Arthashraya Kalpana, which will feature again on different days. So this is what is the module that will be happening in these 5 days of the CME. So this I want you to know. Certain simple things that I want you to, for example, someone was using in the morning the phone. Phone is a biggest distraction these days. So I want you to minimize the usage of phone when the sessions are going on. If it is very essential, at that time you can have a glance at it. But at the, I sincerely request, keep it away and keep it vibrator or silent mode so that the others are not, don't feel offended. So that is another instruction. Then, okay, food, everything will be made available here. You have toilets at the end of this floor itself. On the right side, it is for the females. On the left side, it is for males. And okay, and the attendance sheet will come 4 times in a day. You have to put your signatures on the attendance sheet. For every session, you have to put your signature. And another thing, the discipline is very important. You have to be in time and participate actively is what is my request. And another thing, those chairs, we want it to be kept free so that someone, director, principal or any of those comes, they can sit and occupy those chairs. So you can use these chairs and the chairs that have been kept outside. This is another thing that I want you to remember. Okay. So then we have one questionnaire that will be circulated to you afternoon, which you have to fill up and give us tomorrow morning. So these are some of the things that you should remember as far as these are the basic the things that you should remember. Then okay. So I told you looked at the module that they have given. That module has got 20 topics and will be having 24 sessions in 6 days. So the remaining 4, what they have instructed is related to the Padartha Vijnana, you have to choose 4 more topics. So therefore, these are the 4 topics that are not there, but that will be covered in these 6 days sessions. So another thing, all of you are very active in social media, and we have one hashtag which is there for GAMCB. I want you, if you want to post anything, make use of it so that our followers get to know what are the things happening. This is what it is. So with this brief introduction, we'll start with this session where I will be talking about the research aspect in Samhitas. The Ayurveda Samhita vis-a-vis research methods. What we find in current research methodology, because research methodology is one of the subjects that we have to deal with in our undergraduation itself for the 4th year BMS. So I just like to share few ideas, few concepts related to the Ayurveda Samhita in comparison with the research methods. So before, when we talk about research methods, when we talk about research, it's more of a term related to knowledge. Okay, even skip money. We'll go to the next. So it's more of a term that is related to knowledge. Knowledge is, we term it as jnana, and that has been one of the very basic pursuit of mankind. Search, thereafter the term research comes, and jnana is what we get, we do something, when we search something, when we do research. All of you are here with that pursuit itself, because we have an ourselves, and Atma is defined as Jnanadhikaranam Atma. Some may have the lower level of curiosity and interest, some may have higher level of curiosity and interest, but everyone will have the desire to know. And that forms the foundation for knowing more, and from knowing more itself, knowing more in a scientific, systematic way is known what we call as research. So what do we, when I say research in my own Samhitas, so what I am trying to look, can I find chi-square test somewhere in my Samhita? Do I find a t-test or reference for comparative clinical studies? Do I find all those things? Am I trying to find all those things? Is it possible to find? Are they there in our Samhitas? These are some of the questions. So which we don't have answers, but basically if we critically analyze those things, why, and the conclusion would be, Samhita talks about all these in a different way. Samhita talks about all these things in a different way. And only thing is, we have to crack that code to get the meaning. It is Samhita is provided to us in a coded language. Sutrita. Sutra is defined as that. So that had its own reasons when in the ancient time, writing and photocopying was never easy. So everything was proposed to be written in concise and precise form. So concise, precise form is our Samhita. And Samhita contains sutras. The sutra definitions are Alpaksharam Asandigdam, Asaravat Vishwatomukham, Astobham Anavadyam. Okay, it should be written in a minimal word, it should be non-controversial, it should have vast application, it should be all-time applicable. So these are the criterion to call something as a sutra, and therefore when they pass this test, obviously if it is applicable, then it should be applicable now also. So we have to find out the applicability, we have to search the applicability in Samhitas. And obviously Charaka also says, whatever there in Charaka Samhita is in very minimal pada. The pada that he has used are very less, but the applications are vast. So in that background, when we do the search and the research work, it's more of inquisitiveness, curiosity to know more. And these are again the Atma Guna, as I said, Ichha, Dukha, Dukha, Prayatna. Prayatna is one thing that makes us know more. And it is the desire to know more. All these are absolutely Atma Gunas that you and me possess, which form a basis of learning, knowing more, which is a basis for research. So with this background, we shall look into the next. Okay, all of you know the definition of research. I don't want to go into the definition of research. There are a set of research definitions. At the end, they convey two messages. Either in all the definitions, the process that is involved in research is highlighted, or the outcome of the research is highlighted. These are the two things that we find when we look into the n number of definitions of research. And I suppose you are okay. This is another way, another form of defining the research. Research is collection of data. Collection of data into converted into information, information gets converted into knowledge, and knowledge gets converted into wisdom. Just to put a small example, if I say 30, 35, 38, 40, these are data, these are numbers. These are numbers. If I add a context to this as age, so these are the age of these people, if I say, then that becomes an information. I have taken it to the next level. That became an information. Now I find another set of data, 30, 35, 40, 42. I say these are the BMI. I say these are the... Then this is another set of data, another set of information that I have two informations now. I want to generate a new information. This is okay. These many people are having this many BMI. Right, that's what the generation of knowledge is happening. At the end, I pick from my wisdom that those who are above the age of 40 are more obese. If I make such a statement, it becomes a wisdom. This whole process is nothing other than what happens in research. Okay, I said this. These are also done with because, okay, this is something that I suppose all of you are very much aware. What happens in the research process, because research process is essential because we'll try to find out the process in Samhitas. We'll try to find out the process in some methods. So what research process is basically is, we ask a question, is drug A useful in disease X? Is drug A useful in disease X? Is our question. What do? Is it useful? Are the literary supports already telling? Is it researched? We will try to find the answer. So what we do is we conduct some systematic review of literature. Then we found, what next is, we say that nobody has researched and I'll take it forward. So thereafter, I formulate a research hypothesis, I take my material methods, I go ahead with the experiment and find out the research and publish it. That's what is the whole process. So with this process, the next slide talks about, okay, we'll go directly to what the Samhitas is telling. This also will skip because this is also known to you from the P.V. Sharma book. These are the synonyms that the text talks about. Anveshana, Paryeshana, Gaveshana. I suppose you are very much aware of this. Anveshana, just like what happens in Anumana. Anu means Paschat. Anveshana, Eshana is desire. In our Samhita, Eshana comes in three contexts. One is in the context of Tisreshaniya, where there is a desire for prana, dhana, paraloka. We want to attain all those things. There is another context in Shalya where the word Eshana comes as a probe to know the unknown, hidden orifice. So put a probe, know what is there at the end. From the known, we try the unknown. That's what is happening in the research. So, Anantara Eshanam Anveshanam. Another word is there, Paritaha Eshanam. Paritaha means complete. Paritaha means comprehensive. Paritaha means just like how it happens in Pariksha. Pariksha means Paritaha Ikshana. Complete comprehensive examination of a student in 3 hours by our question paper. In our Samhita, one more word comes like Pariyatra. Pariyatra. Paritaha Yatra is known as Pariyatra. Pariyatra, the river which flows full always. Ashtanga Hridaya in commentary aspect says this as, he refers to the river Brahmaputra and says it as Pariyatra. So Paritaha Yatra, Paritaha means complete comprehensive, and comprehensive complete examination is what is happening in research, and therefore this is also known as Paryeshana. When we talk about Gaveshana, we have 2 meanings. Gavam Iva and Goveshana. Gavam Iva Yeshana means how I find a lost cow in a forest. How do I do it? We don't go randomly searching everywhere. We know the likelihood of presence of this cow. We'll follow the footprints. We'll try to know where the cow dung is there. So based on that, we systematically search and find out. Another meaning for the Gaveshana happens to be Gobihi Eshana, where I employ my own indriyas and find the truth. So these are some of the Paryaya padas for the research. Now, all of us are Siddhanta teachers. All of us are Siddhanta teachers, and this is what is the definition of Siddhanta. Siddhanta is defined as Siddhanto Nama Sahayah Parikshakahi Bahuvida Pariksha Hetu Vishya Sadhayitva Sthapite Nirnayah. So what it says? It says it's a conclusion that is arrived at after repeated examination on different platforms by different investigators. It's a conclusion which is arrived at after repeated experiments by different investigators and different platforms. If that conclusion is same, then we call it a Siddhanta. That's what is Siddhanta. What happens in research? One step of this the research is nothing other than establishing a Siddhanta itself. I take drug A, use it in disease X, and keeps 1 step 3 in my clinical setup. In my experiment, I do it. If the same is done and established by everyone, it becomes Siddhanta. So the definition of Siddhanta itself is telling us the process of the research. The definition of Siddhanta itself is making us aware of the process that is involved in research. Okay, to put the things back into perspective again, we all aware of this Ayurveda avatarana. Brahma smutva ayusha vedam prajapati majigrahat so ashvinau tau sahasraksham so atri putradikan munin tegni vishadikan sate prathak tantrani tenide. This we know it. We compel our students to by heart. Right. What it says, Brahma and shared it to Daksha Prajapati, who transferred it to Ashwini, who transferred it to Indra, and from Indra Bharadwaja learnt, and then we have Charaka Samhita. This is what is our current knowledge. Now just we want to look into this shloka from a different, looking into the padartha, the words that are featured in this shloka of Ashtadhyayi. Nowhere, see, there is one word Brahma is a person who gives the information, who, remember, he is not the creator. He is not the creator of any information, he is just smrutva. He gathered all, compiled all, and shared it to another person in the interest that it should be useful for everyone. With that purpose, he shares it. He shares it to whom? We say Daksha Prajapati. The shloka doesn't talk about Daksha Prajapati. In shloka there is Prajapati only. Praja means common man, the civic society. Pati is king. So he shares this to administrative head. So he shares that information to king so that you take it to everyone in the society. Should the king accept it? Should the king accept it? No. He cannot. Because he cannot depend on this information which has come from one person itself. So he has to do merit-demerit analysis. He has to do the benefit and the loss of this information. So therefore, Ashvinau come. Merit-demerit analysis happens through these Ashvinau. The word there are Ashvinau. We talk about, I am not going against the current understanding and just giving another meaning of this shloka. So merit-demerit analysis happened through that Ashvinau. Now then, they said that merit is more than the demerit, then what should happen? Then this was transferred again to Sahasraksha. We talk Indra. But the shloka says Sahasraksha. Sahasraksha means thousands of eyes. Thousands of eyes. Siddhanto nama yaha parikshakaihi bahuvida pariksha. So thousands of experiments were conducted and such a refined information that we have is an outcome of this rigorous research itself. The Samhita that we have has already passed through all these things. So this shloka is also telling us the process of research itself. So this is how we look into the research in comparison with the Ayurveda Avatarana. The next shloka. So having defined Siddhanta defined as Sayaha Parikshakaihi Bahudha Pariksha Hetuvishya Sadhaitva Sthapyate Nirnaya. We say this is Siddhanta, and immediately Samhita says there are 4 types of Siddhanta, and they are Sarvatantra Siddhanta, Pratitantra Siddhanta, Abhipagama Siddhanta, Adhikarana Siddhanta. What text says is the Siddhanta which are accepted by everyone, every science is known as Sarvatantra Siddhanta. Textual examples, there are diseases. This is a statement. There are diseases, an Ayurveda practitioner should accept it, a science should accept it, a history teacher should accept it. It is accepted by everyone. Sarvatantra Siddhanta. Then we have next level is Pratitantra Siddhanta, which are relevant to my own science. About Lokapurusha Samya Siddhanta, I talk about Samanya Vishya, I talk about Panchamahabhuta Siddhanta, which are for my science, for the type of Siddhanta happens to be the Adhikarana Siddhanta. Adhikarana is the context. Adhikarana is contextual statements, contextual principles. For example, Adhikarana happens to be the Tantra also. So in Adhikar, if I make that is one statement which is nothing than if I make an statement, Tatradhya Marutam Gnanti, I am making a statement, the is Rasa. So such statements are known as Adhikarana Siddhanta, and last one is Abhipagama Siddhanta. I suppose how many of you teach Padartha Vijnana? Very good. So all of us teach this. We say that Siddhanta is a Siddhanta is temporarily accepted. When the other party is telling, put context and say you are correct or wrong. It without testing it, without there we end it. There we end it. These are the 4 types of Siddhanta. These are the meaning of 4 types of Siddhanta, and that's the end of it. What we do it. Now I want you to look into this from the reverse angle. We'll start with the first one as Abhipagama Siddhanta. We'll start the Siddhanta. Savita Lekhaniya Gana Mahakashayam Staulya. Hypothesis that Lekhaniya Gana Mahakashaya is useful in Staulya. She did not know it whether it is useful or not. She proposed a hypothesis. True or false, I don't know. I make a statement and give it as hypothesis, and this Abhipagama Siddhanta is nothing other than hypothesis. A hypothetical statement that I have to validate after examination is known as Abhipagama Siddhanta. We call it as a hypothesis in research. Now, what after hypothesis? What after hypothesis? Reddy worked on the effect of samskara on yava. He came up with his own conclusions. His conclusions were there is effect of samskara on the different forms of yava. So it was work conducted in Government Ayurveda Medical College, Mysore. The Adhikarana is Mysore. The Adhikarana is Government Ayurveda Medical College, Mysore. That is the place where it was conducted, and it was relevant in that setup itself. We cannot generalize this. At this point of time, we cannot generalize. What I find in my research is an outcome of my own research. Till it becomes replicable, it is Adhikarana Siddhanta. Till if it becomes replicable, I have found out this in my setup, this is what is my Adhikarana. Now, when I take this at a larger level, I conduct some multi-central trials. Same protocol I apply in different part of the India and conduct the trials in different part of the country, and same protocol, no deviation in the protocol, and then I come out with this statement that this is going to be effective. I say it is as a Pratitantra Siddhanta for me. I have taken it to a next level. From the hypothesis, I conducted a trial, I conducted different trials. That's what our definition of Siddhanta also says. So I conducted different trials in different part of the country. Principal investigator was different. The protocol was same. Then the conclusion arrived. So it becomes a Siddhanta. It becomes a Pratitantra Siddhanta. Now the whole globe, whole world, if it accepts it, then we call it as Sarvatantra Siddhanta. Siddhantas are very relevant, very particular. Such mentality itself. I suppose somewhere, even when I come to Abhipagama Siddhanta, we called as Siddhanta itself. This used to be a question always. No, the question is answered. This is what is our ancestors have thought it in this way itself. So the development of Siddhanta is a process. Is a process, and is a process that has level is asking a research question, which is Abhipagama Siddhanta. Then we take it forward in the Adhikarana Siddhanta. Then we take it to the Pratitantra Siddhanta. Ends up with Sarvatantra Siddhanta. That this is universally accepted treatment protocol. So what I mean when I compare that the types of Siddhanta with the research process. Now, another thing, Pramana in comparison with research. If you look into Charaka Samhita Sutrasthana 11th chapter, he is very clear statement. Dvidhameva khalu sarvam satcha satcha tasya chaturvidha pariksha. Aptopadesha yuktischeti. This is what is the quotation text. Now look into what the research is happening, what the research process is happening. What the research is happening. So we ask a question, we try to know it. At the beginning, I am not sure whether it is useful or not. There is Sat or Asat. There is possibility or no. It is useful. Navaka Goli is useful in obesity. Yes or no? It may be useful. Sat or Asat. To know it itself, I have to tread 4 more steps. So what I do? I have to conduct some systematic review. All of review of literature from the pre-Vedic period to the published today will be my Aptopadesha. Will be the Aptopadesha which answers all the questions that I ask. Then using this Aptopadesha itself, I develop a protocol. I put that protocol into investigation. Thereafter, I start observing the events. In case of obesity, I will start measuring the height, weight, BMI. All these are the observations. All these are the domain of Pratyaksha. When I find certain fact, I try to relate it, and that's what happens in Anumana. And if these factors are innumerable, if these factors are countless, what we do is we apply our own yukti. Yukti is defined as Bahukarana Yoga. When the karana are many, when the yoga of many things are happening, what we do is we apply logic, we intuit, we take the help of statistician, we infer, and we arrive at a conclusion. And this again is a quotation which is telling us about the process of research itself. Okay, we will not talk about these things, evidence of research in Ayurveda. All these are known to you. Next. Aim of research is also known. One is to increase the quality of life, and the another most important, I suppose all of you have done with one research, and all of you have tried to validate what Samhita is telling. Right? All of you have taken a reference. Charaka Samhita says this, so I want to see it. That's how our research mentality has been going on. No new addition is happening, only revalidation is happening, and that's not, I'm not telling that that is not correct, because Samhita itself says Yuganurupa Sandarbho Vibhagena. That period. So that forms a purpose of conducting research. So this is what is the aim, and last one is Pratyaksham Alpam Anantam Apratyaksam. We know information that is there in the domain of Pratyaksham, in the domain of Aptopadesha and Anumana is just too vast. Through my research, I convert all that Aptopadesha into Pratyaksha. Through my research, I convert all the information that is in the domain of Anumana into the Pratyaksha, so that it is observable, so that it is measurable, so that it is acceptable by everyone in the society. So I want to increase the domain of Pratyaksha. I want to convert everything that is possible to be converted from Aptopadesha to Pratyaksha. Okay. So in the process, I explained to you, we ask a certain question, we frame a hypothesis, we find the material methodology, all those are there in these 5 terms. Panchavayava Vakya is one of the novel concepts of the Nyaya Darshana, but Ayurveda has made its utility in such a way that we, in the 44 Vadamarga Pada, we find these things. We'll go one after the other in this. The first statement is Pratijna. Pratijna means Satyavachana. Any statement that I make to prove, to establish, to validate would be known as Satyavachana. So therefore Pratijna is my research question, Pratijna is my hypothesis. So Pratijna is a statement that I make to validate it. So therefore Pratijna happens to be Satyavachana, and after Pratijna I have to establish it, and the establishment itself is known as Sthapana. Charaka uses the word Sthapana to establish. To establish Pratijna, what all I do would be known as Sthapana, and Sthapana is defined as Tasya eva Pratijnayaha hetu drishtanta upanaya nigamanaihi Sthapana. I have to prove the Pratijna using these 4. I have to prove my research question, I have to prove the statement, I have to test it using these 4, and together they become Panchavayava Vakya. So the 4 that are there are Hetu, Drishtanta, Upanaya, Nigamana, and all of you know the meaning. How they are applicable in research is what we will be talking about very particularly. So as I said, Pratijna is a research problem or a proposal of hypothesis. Hetu is defined as Hetur Nama Upalabdhi Karaka. Hetu is defined as Upalabdhi Karana. All that I take, all the cause, material, mean that I take to test my Pratijna would be known as Hetu. So therefore reasoning, supportive evidence, means methods which establish the authenticity of a reason and explain it in a convincing manner would be known as Hetu. And immediately Charaka brings another Jitnyasa here. When we talk about Hetu, the term Jitnyasa is defined as Jitnyasa Nano Pariksha. Jitnyasa means inquisitiveness, and that Pariksha again has to be conducted by our own Pramana. And the Pramana are again the 4 in number, and they are Aptopadesha, Pratyaksha, Anumana, Yukti. We'll talk absolutely the applied aspect of all these things. Now, what is Aptopadesha? Some days back, one of my students says, first shloka of Ashtanga Hridaya says, Ayu Kamayananena Dharmartha Sukha Sadhanam Ayurvedopadesheshu Videha Paramadaraha. So we should follow it with utmost dedication. Are we not biased? Is it not a bias? Is it not a bias? How can we follow without testing it? So, it is answered in the text itself because aptas are free from rajan. What they say is only the fact and the truth which is only in the interest of universal well and not for any person. So therefore, they are aptas satyam vakshanti te kasmada satyam nirajastana. They don't have raja and tama, and therefore what all they say is only truth only and nothing other than the truth. And what I said, apta hi avitarka smriti vibhaga vido nishpriti upatapa darshinascha. Towards anyone. They don't hate it. Nishpriti, nirupatapa are the 2 words that are there. Nishpriti, they don't have any envy. They don't hate anyone also. They are purely in the universal well-being that they are sharing information up vast exposure experience. So that in valid. Now, what the applied aspect of Aptopadesha also says, so when we talk about, if you look into the what has been written in English, theoretical knowledge of research methods, review of literature, previous researches, lacunae in the current knowledge, understanding, framing a hypothesis, development of a protocol, all these are through Aptopadesha only. I have for this study, will I compare it with something that has been done already? I have to see. What is the most likely study design for this? I have to learn the research methods. Again, I have to go to Aptopadesha. So Aptopadesha helps in every aspect of that. And all of I just started. All of you have taken a topic which is there in Samhita itself. You want to revalidate it, right? You have done it. If suppose your results were negative, what does it mean? The science gives you permission to accept it. See, tatra aptaha agamaha tavad vedaha yascha anyo api kaschid vedartha viparitaha. If you find any information which is opposite to already told, you have to accept it. You have to kaschid api vedartha viparitaha parikshakaihi pranitaha shishthanumato lokanukritaha shastravada Sacha api agamaha. If you find any information, Charaka has said that this is useful in such a way, has given such an exaggeration, but you find it to be useless. You find it to be useless, but you work so much. You have brought out with this information, your administrative head. The words that he is using is Shishthanumataha. You get the permission from your administrative head in the interest of Loka. Again, it should be shared. Lokanugraha Prabhu. In the interest of public domain itself, in the interest of common man itself, I will share. I followed this method, I framed this question, and I found out nothing. There may be lacunae in framing the research question, there may be lacunae in the methodology, but my conclusions are like this, which is not in not in accordance with the science. So that also is Mayaptopadesha. Next. So after we Pratyaksha. Now when we start experimenting, when we start any of the clinical trial, any of the experimental trial, whatever trial, first thing that we do is we have to keep observing the events. Observation is a very important aspect. We make a case sheet, keep observing, start recording everything. And observation is in the domain of Pratyaksha. What all we observe falls in the domain of Pratyaksha itself, and technologically there were so many hurdles in those times. Those hurdles are overcome these days. There are microscope, there are spectrophotometry, there can be a number of instruments. But at the end, however technologically advanced we are, we have our own indriyas to see them also. We have to use our own indriyas, belongs to the domain of Pratyaksha itself. However you use TLC, you have to see it. However you develop your structure, you have to hear it. Right? So it is all in the domain of Pratyaksha, and these instruments which are there are going to help us to increase the domain of Pratyaksha. They are going to help, but they cannot replace the Indriyas. Indriyas are never replaceable. Next. After this, I basically generally say, if there is one Indriya, one Vishaya, the contact is direct. If there is one eye, Rupa is the Vishaya, the contact is direct. That we call it as Pratyaksha. If there is one Indriya, two Vishaya, if I hold an ice cream here, you are seeing the ice cream, your Chakshurindriya is getting in contact with the ice cream, but you are also getting a feel that it is cold, you are getting a feel that it is sweet also, but your Sparshanindriya has not come in contact with this at this point of time. Your Rasanindriya has not come in contact with this at this point in time. It has happened in the past. That's why we call Pratyaksha Purvam Trividam Trikalam Cha Anumiyate. So at this point of time, when there is one plus one Pratyaksha. If one Indriya, two Vishaya, we are going next level, that is Anumana. If these are on these parameters, if these factors are many, I have to see Prakriti, I have to see Manasa Prakriti, I have to see the weight, I have to see the BMI, I have to see the age, I have to see his food habits, I have to see so many things. When those so many things are to be seen and analyzed, we take the help of Yukti. Yukti is defined as something that we arrive at after Bahukaranya Yoga. So all these have these applications when we talk about research. Okay. Drishtanta is the next one. Okay, all these things fell in the title of Hetu. Pratijna followed by Hetu. The next one is Drishtanta, and Drishtanta is one thing which we define as Murkha Vidusha, which is understandable for every level of students, is what the text says. And when we talk about research, there can be no research without seeing the previous research. Previous research is an example for me. Previously, who has worked is an example for me. I take what methodology he has followed. I try to comprehend has he followed correctly or not. Then I take that as an example. Then we have, once we find the results, whenever in a clinical trial, the results that we find is a result of 30 patients. We have to generalize. We have to generalize that, make it applicable to the whole population. So we have to compare this with compare the sample with the population. The comparison, what we call it as Upanaya. So it's a comparison, correlation, where I find to know my p-value, where I try to know the confidence interval of the research. All this falls in the domain of Upanaya, and at the end I make a conclusion which is nothing other than restatement of Pratijna, and that we call it as Nigamana. This is what we mean by the research process. Now generally this is what it happens, but most of the times this you conclude, you publish, and that's the end of it. But we have to take it forward actually. The science tells us. So the conclusion that is arrived is known as Vyavasaya or Nirnaya. Vyavasaya or Nirnaya is defined as Nishchaya. It is again one of the Vadamarga Prabhupada talking about. So which may be positive or negative. Result of your research may be positive If it is positive, then if the findings are positive, then that has become your Adhikarana Siddhanta. What you have found out now is an Adhikarana Siddhanta. You have to take it forward, make it Pratitantra Siddhanta, make it Sarvatantra Siddhanta, then it becomes Siddhanta. Right? If the findings are positive, then that path has to be followed. If the findings are negative, next one. There Pratijna gets defeated, we have told in Samhitas. So Pratijna Hani means Purvam Parigrahitam Pratijnam Paripachate. To reject this hypothesis itself is wrong. Hypothesis gets defeated. So that is Pratijna Hani. Now at that point of time, what do we do? No. Acharya says that there is also not the end. We have to tread again where the word that he uses is Upalanga. I have to find the dosha in the hetu. The dosha in the hetu. So what was my hetu? My hetu was all that I did to prove my Pratijna. My Pratijna was my hypothesis. My all material method, the control, the standard, the comparative group, everything was my. I have to find where I went wrong. The Samhita says using this Palamba Hetur. So this is the whole process of Samhita, which is nothing. However developed the modern medical science, the modern research science is going, it can never trespass, bypass our own Samhitas. So Samhitas talk about all these, but only because of such we are not in a position to understand, and this is how an approach to the research is possible. We'll skip this. This is next. Okay. I'll talk about these. These are some of the instances, examples of Samhita, example of researchers in the Samhitas. I'll quote few examples and end it. For example, there is first one is saying literary research. Is literary research is there in Charaka Samhita? Okay. You find so many examples. I'll quote one example here. Uncha Shila Nyaya is a method that Tridabala followed to add 41 chapters to the Samhita to make it 120 chapter Samhita. So what he did, there was so many, Agnivesha had written a Samhita which has got 150 chapters. Charaka, when he did redaction, 41 were not there. So he had to add 41. He selectively chose, just like how a pigeon selects its food grains. Likewise, Dridabala selected those chapters and added, giving a look that everything is homogeneous. Giving a look that there isn't any difference between what the Charaka Pratisamskrita is and what the Dridabala Pratisamskrita is. So he meticulously done that. That forms the first example of our literary research. Now we have drug research. In Charaka Samhita 8th chapter, in the Dashavida Pariksha Bhava, we come across with something called as Desha Pariksha. Desha is Bhumi and Atura Desha. Bhumi Desha has to be examined. Atura Desha, the Atura Pariksha, Prakrititaha, Vikrititaha, it follows that route. Now, when we talk about Bhumi Desha Pariksha, what do? We have two terms. One is Atura Parijnana Hetu, another thing is Aushadha Parijnana Hetu. Now, Aushadha Parijnana Hetu means what? It is taking a cumulative account of the patient, to what geography he is, where he is right now, what is the car, what was his food pattern. Taking into considering all these, we have to arrive at our diagnosis, and that's what we find it in Charaka Samhita. Taking that gist, he quotes, this is the drug grown in, it has such and such potency. The guidelines for drug research is laid. The context has demanded. I suppose most of PG students are there, whom you may be encountering, particularly those working in Roganidana or Kai Chikitsa. Whenever they do any research on a disease, when they talk about nidana, they'll try to find out the nidana that are mentioned in that chapter, in that context in Samhita. Say for example, if a person is working on Vatarakta, he will read the Vatarakta Nidana Adhyaya or Chikitsa Adhyaya, enlist the Nidana and prepares his case sheet and carries forward. But Samhitas are not like that. Samhitas are not, they are entirely different. In Jalavarga we find references. Water causes so many diseases. But that point. Consuming this leads to such and such events. Our question, our research format doesn't include at all. What all is told in Nidhanasthana, Chikitsasthana only finds its mentioned, nowhere it is mentioned. So that mentality and that has to be changed. So that change has to be done by we ourselves have to sensitize the other branch followers, and that's the example that I am talking about. Technological studies quoted in the example of Janapada Dhamasa, even in Sadhya Sadhyata, when he says Ekamargaja is Sadhya. To make this statement, he would have conducted some study of certain diseases where only one dosha was involved, where only one marga was involved. So after that itself, he would have made such conclusion that Eka doshaja is it's a comparative study itself. Danta Nishpita is useful, he says. Yantra Nishpita causes Vidaha, he says. So it is a comparative study that he has already done and given the conclusions. Now we have prospective and retrospective studies which are a part of the study designs which find their relevance in Abhida Vision, Ananda Vision. Now I have to take this example for in vitro studies. In vitro studies means studies which are not conducted on humans, rather outside. We conduct so many analytical studies, in vitro studies. In Jalavarga, Bhagavata says, Yenavi Krishnamohanam Shandanyam Rajadesitam Aklinam Avivaranam Tatvayam Kandamaneta. We teach this. Yenavi Krishnamohanam Shandanyam Rajadesitam. What he is telling? He is telling to test whether the water is good to consume or not. You have to conduct a small test. What he is saying, take cooked rice, keep it in a bowl that is made up of silver. Then keep it for certain time. If there is no flavor, if there is no vibrant, then treat it as useful. What he is telling, this is nothing other than he is very much aware of the fact that the rice is one of the most important staple food at that time, in the present time also. So we know immediately after consuming food we go for water. So the first thing that happens is food and water interaction happens. We want to see whether it is going to be harmful to us or not. So if it is harmful, we don't take it. If it is not harmful, we take it. So he conducted that test outside. And he is very much aware of the fact that this is Amashaya that interaction is taking place. Amashaya has got huge amount of acid, which is Amla Rasa in nature. That's why he brings Rajita Patra, which is Amla Rasa. So therefore, it's a perfect example for the in vitro studies. So in vivo study, we have Vishakta, Annadravya Pariksha, etc. We have direct references for that. Okay. The next one is something called as cohort study. I suppose you have heard about cohort studies. Cohort studies are longitudinal studies which are done over a period of time, not for this 3 months, 4 months. These are longitudinal, long-running studies. Now, when he says Pippali should not be used continuously, Nati Abhyaseta, Nati Upayunjita, Trini Dravyani, Nati Upayunjita. When he says Pippali, Kshara, when he says Kshara, if it is consumed over a period of time, it produces these, he should have conducted some sort of cohort studies. He should have conducted some longitudinal studies to arrive at these conclusions. Cohort studies examples are traced there. Then we have cross-sectional studies where a certain section of the society is investigated at a single point of time. we have a concept of Sadatura there. There are two references of Sadatura coming in my literature. One is Vataladya Sadatura and the other one is certain professions where the persons are more prone to get deceased, and all of them are doing Vegadharana. Where to arrive that, he should have conducted something called as a cross-sectional study itself. Again, the scope of paramedics, the current rules of the good clinical practice or NABH norms, every roots can be traced in one Upakalpani Adhyaya where he talks about hospital setup, where you have to have a dietary unit, you have to have a pharmacy there itself, all minute brooms. He talks about brooms also, he talks about the cleanliness, hygiene, every nook and corner that the current norms are there, are roots are there in Upakalpani Adhyaya itself. Okay, so that's, I'll end giving few quotes regarding the statistics. Because when we talk about research is something that I do in a limited scope. So I have to sample, I have to apply the outcome to the population. Right? So therefore I have to select a sample following a sample size, part of statistic, and apply statistical test applicable to everyone. So what I do through this is, I'll try to find out the references and the instances of the stat in my Samhitas. It starts from the Sankhya itself. Sankhya is defined as one of the Paradi Gunas, Sankhya Syad Ganitam. Ganita is nothing other than the calculation. Ganita is playing with numbers. So Sankhya Syad Ganitam, the data and the information. When I talk about will produce a date. This observation, in Pratyaksha, when we talk about, we say Nirvikalpaka Pratyaksha and Savikalpaka. Nirvikalpaka Pratyaksha means? So just I said numbers, 35, 40. If I add a context, it becomes Savikalpaka. If I add a context, that these are the ages, then that becomes Savikalpaka. So this observation and the data collection are in the domain of Pratyaksha itself, and with the data is classified basically as qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative data forms in the domain of attribute which we learn as guna, and quantitative would be that in the domain of Sankhya, Parimana, etc. In all cases, we have to measure, we have measurement parameters, we have fractions and multiplication also. In Ashtahara Vidivishesha Ayatana, Sarvagraha and Parigraha Raja. He's talking about individual account and cumulative account, where we talk about fractions and multiplications also. And this is another term that we come in statistics, dichotomy. Dichotomy means categorizing in two. If it is placed in one category, it cannot be placed in another category, male, female, yes, no, that kind of dichotomy. Dichotomy is Sadhya, Asadhya, Mrudu, Dharana. These are the examples for those itself. Then the data has been told, data presentation of the tabulation is also there in Samhitas. When he talks about 12 Ahara Varga, he has already done, he has collected the data and presented it before you. When he talks about Pancha, 50 Dashaman, he has collected the data and presented in a systematic way for us. So, and lastly, the sample and the population falls in the bigger domain, that the population and the sample are same, Loka Purusha are same. Loka Purusha Samya Siddhanta, and since the Loka Purusha application of Loka Purusha Samya Siddhanta is taking place, take the population, the sample will represent the population and Samanya Siddhanta, application of Samanya Siddhanta itself. Next one. Okay, we have, I suppose you have learned something called as inclusion exclusion criteria in our when we write protocol. Again, Vyapti, the scope of the research. When we learn about Vyapti, we already also have two types of Vyapti, Anvaya Vyapti and Vyatireka Vyapti. All that I include in the inclusion criteria falls in the domain of Anvaya Vyapti, and all that I exclude is Vyatireka. Right? All that I exclude is Vyatireka itself. Now another, when we talk about statistics, we have a tool, correlation regression. Heard about it? Remember? Correlation is a concept which establishes the relationship between two non-related parameters. The two non-related parameters, absolutely not related, to what extent they are correlating, to what extent they are resembling is, to know this we have a tool and we have a test, we have formulae for correlation. Now, Charaka would have had this idea, otherwise he would not have brought Narikilodaka in Jalavarga. He would have not brought Madhu in Ikshuvarga. So there is Madhu, Na Ikshuvarga, completely two different things. Completely two different things yet comparable. So there is an application of correlation, a part of statistics in these aspects of Charaka Samhita. Okay, the test of significance also again descriptive. Basically, after this they become chi-square ANOVA. Basically, they are inferential and descriptive. When we talk about in 8th chapter, after attaining complete Aptopadesha Jnana, he says only two pramanas are essential. Only two pramana are essential, and they are Pratyaksha and Anumana. When you have everything knowledge, when you have collected every data of your research, what you should do is you have to apply it. You have to see it and go ahead with descriptive statistics where you calculate percentage, etc. And otherwise, you have to go to the next level where you infer. If the sample is less than 30, you apply t-test. If it is repeated measurement, then you go for repeated measures ANOVA. So, inferential and descriptive are the two types of tests of significance which are again represented by Charaka Samhita. And we have lastly the vital statistics, Alpayu, Dirghayu, etc. Those taken as the leads for vital statistics. So this is what I try to present before you, the concepts that are there in the research methods, which are very much there in our Samhitas. I gave you the few of the example. If one meticulously goes into the Samhitas, we can have n number of such instances. So that's what was my presentation. Hope it was useful. If you have got to ask anything, you're welcome. The lunch is ready. We'll go to have the lunch. After that, there will be session. There will be two more sessions, before which we'll give you a questionnaire, which you have to take today and give us tomorrow morning.